done that now. That is bad timing. What?
Direct Diaries, yo people, what's good? Welcome back to another Boardroom Talks. I'm here, joined by some very, very special guests. Some of them you may recognize. No, do you know what? All of them you definitely recognize. I'll be real. These are my favorite Spurs YouTubers, the guys that we be chopping it up. And there's some different opinions in here. You ain't just got guys singing from the same hymns. I think we done it. As you can see, I've got one side and I've got another side. I think this sort of is going to match up as to where the thoughts are at with Spurs today. But before we get into anything, let me just introduce the guests. Starting off, the man below me, the guy that's Spurs Kings himself. Got a show straight after this. So if you're finished watching this and you want to hear more about Spurs, make sure you follow it on to Spurs Kings TV. Man like Ash, how you doing, bro?
Yes, my broski. Thanks for having me on once again. It's good to link up, chop up all things Spurs. I think there's a lot to talk about. We need to, break it down, get into the nitty gritty. Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here once again. Big up the chat, man. Hold tight, all the man them, all the girl them, all the family them. Obviously, we're one Spurs family, don't know. But yeah, big up everyone in the actual panel as well, man. Hold tight, you man. But yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, man. For real. We are one family. That's one thing. I know Spurs Twitter, Spurs fan base seems like a mess right now, but we're here to let you guys know we are all together. Even though you got different opinions, just like your family, you fight sometimes. We're all here working together, man. We all want the same thing, and that's for Tottenham to be good. But here, joined by the guy that's calls himself Tottenham Van Helsing. Hey, he be hunting down them Arsenal fans, but he also be telling people when it's right, you gotta shake your booty for Spurs. So. Man like Deji, how you doing, my bro?
Big up, my bro, George. Yeah, man, I'm good, man, but I've been better. I love my club, man, but, I can't even lie to you. I think for me, we can lose games. I'm not delusional, I'm not stupid, but I don't want to ever feel embarrassed about my club. You get me? And this brother that scored the overhead kick is someone that is local. Do you know what I mean? Like, this brother was doing a one-to-one with my son's coach, like that? And now he's scoring overhead kicks at my gaff. So he's taking the piss, bro. I'm embarrassed, bro. I couldn't get the train. I've had to be moving about in my vehicle, like that? Because if I get on the train, man might have eggs thrown at the back of my forehead. You know what I'm saying? So, but apart from that, bro, I just want to see my club do well, man. I just want to see my club do well. And I feel like another year, another season, and it's the same old crap, man. So I'm disappointed.
I don't blame you. As you can see, no durag today. The tractor boys ripped my thing off, and this is what I've been left with. So I know exactly how you feel about not wanting to get on the train, bro. I know exactly how you feel. But last but not least, it's the man, Mr. Box Office. He doesn't hold back in anything he's got to say, and I'm sure he's gonna be the exact same today. How are you, man?
Oh, you know what? I'm just seeing Deji, like, bruv. Like, you know what, Deji? I still invited you to that Soko event, bruv. That ticket's still available for you, bruv. You know what I mean? That ticket's still available for you. You know what I mean? Because I did tell you. I told you, bro. I told you last year, bruv. I told you last year about this guy. You know what I mean? Because I was justified, like I said. Listen, I'm not gonna get into. Listen, big up to my boy George, like, inviting me, yeah. And big up to my boy from Spurs Kings TV, Asmat, the best guy on YouTube, the guy that you want to listen to about tactics, bruv. Yeah, right. And even though he's deluded, Deji, and he should have listened to me last year because he knows now the truth is coming to pass. Now he said he wants ANGE out now. You know what I mean? This is how it is. You know what I mean? Hindsight's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? The truth hurts, like I said, because you know what Mr. Box Office does. You saw me on Chris Cowden's show. You know what I mean? The truth hurts on this show, and it's going to hurt right now, like I said, every single time, and that's it. So just get yourself strapped in, get your popcorn out, because this is going to be box office like every single time, and that's it. And if you don't know, you should have got to know already on the show, and that's it. Back to you, Jules. I'm done. If you don't know, get to know.
That's what I
I'm
like
really
to
just
hear.
getting
If you
started.
don't know, you should get to know. And we're gonna start there. First of all, big up. First comment, big up everyone. Levy out, standard by Levy out himself. We hear it, we understand. But let's just get into the football stuff. I saw it today, Deji, when he was live earlier. He said it quite clearly. He's done with the manager. And Alex, you said it. You were telling him all last year. You're telling us all last year. Deji, what's got you there, man? Because I know you're just like me. You had the belief. You said this is the guy to take us forward. We can see something good, but obviously you've changed your mind. What's got you there?
Yeah. So first and foremost, let me qualify it because I'm not quite on Mr. Box Office. Mr. Box Office wrote Postecoglou off from day. What I find inexcusable is that a lot of the issues that we've had with Spurs this season has been unavoidable. Now, I'm not delusional. On any given Sunday, you can lose a game of football. I don't mind losing a game of football, provided that you show effort and heart. Sometimes you just get done by the better team on the day. Let's just be real. And I respect that. That's what makes the beautiful game so beautiful. Now, my issue with Postecoglou has been that, you know, for me, we have the record, the embarrassing record this season of having given the first victories. Remember, Crystal Palace, 8 games in, no wins. We gave them their first W. Then Ipswich, 10 games in, 5 draws, 5 defeats, and we are moving like Tinkerbell and Peter Pan. We're out here giving W's to teams that ain't got wins. And I can't have that. Now, the issue I have is, I asked the question with Ash, and I talked about the second half against Brighton and why I was bitterly disappointed. So this is not because of Ipswich. This is from the Brighton game where I said Tottenham needed to go on and win 10 games in a row. And if I'm true to word, he didn't win that game. And so he must come out. And I said I wanted to see 10 wins. The Brighton game, people led me to believe that, you know what? And he said it himself, it's never happened under my watch. Yep. It was freakish. Yeah, that's what he said. Give man the benefit of the doubt. The Palace game, I would have been telling them brothers, man, these lot have not won a game all season. They're low on confidence. Get an early goal, slap these brothers up. I'm seeing Eze flip-flapping my team as if they finished, as if they're the ones in fourth and we're the ones in relegation fodder. The amount of confidence they play, forget the result, the confidence that this team played, you wouldn't think they'd not won a game. And we allowed that to happen.
Yeah, the thing that, you know, just on Eze, yeah, the most embarrassing thing was, did you guys, man, see when he was on the edge of the box and he had man shaka and dancing? The man that were doing all this on the edge of the box.
Bruv,
what was that?
Bruv. So you saw that, yeah? You saw that as well. But I was led to believe.
Yeah.
Man, them called me out to Dej. You know what? It can happen. Palace away. You know it's dodgy, rare, I said, fine. I even accepted the Galatasaray. I wasn't bothered about the Galatasaray game because I was like, yo, bun the game. We've got injuries and I don't really care. Go out and do your little mishmash. Just make sure you beat Ipswich. Also because you just have to beat Ipswich 1-0 and we're third. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden now, man comes back with chest. You get me? I'm flapping my wings. Mr. Box Office is saying, you know what, Dej? You know, man, I have to hell you. All of them things there. Bro, how do you explain to me why my team is losing 2-0 half-time to Ipswich at home? Now, for me, if you can't motivate the players, forget tactics. If you can't motivate the man them to go to war, then you need to get out. It's as simple as. And for me, Brighton second half, you couldn't motivate them at half-time. Crystal Palace, you couldn't motivate. Ipswich, you couldn't motivate at home. That means you've lost the room. You've lost the dressing room. Because for me, that is the measure. If we played good football like we did against Newcastle and lost, I'll be pissed, but I'll still be saying it's good football. It's just unfortunate. There was nothing unfortunate about the weekend's game. We were not up for it. And if the players are not up for it, that's got to be down to the manager. There's no way you play under me and you go out looking like pussy holes against Ipswich. It won't happen. I'll be telling you, get your elbow, bust this brother's eye socket. You get me? See that brother's ankle? You need to give two studs right there. You have to let them know they come to our stadium. Let them feel it. Them man were laughing and joking, and then tweeting about it. Can you imagine? With a little pink top? Nah. So for me, I'm embarrassed. And when you make me embarrassed, then that you've lost the room, you must go.
Nah, I hear it. And you made a good point there, because I think one of the things for me that I've noticed, I ain't where you're at. I'll make it very clear. I'm not ANGE out. I'm not there yet. But one of the things that has been very clear is the most recent games is the performance levels have dropped. At the start of the season, the Leicester game, the Newcastle game, even the Arsenal game to some extent, you can watch them and say that we probably didn't deserve the result. The performances were a lot better. But by the end of the day, result is what we led with. We ended up with a draw and 2 losses. But it looked like it could have went up, because if we did finish our chances, it could have been a whole different game. But now we're getting to the point where the performances are bad. Sorry, I think I cut out there. The performances are bad and the results aren't there. Ash, you tell me, what are we missing from ANGE at this moment? What is he not doing right to get the performance out of players? Because like Deji alluded to, the second half performances have killed us in some of these games, or one half or the other. It's sort of been one half of football where we play good and the other half is absolute dread.
Look, I'll be real, right? Tactically, he's not got it right. Sometimes he has. For example, that West Ham game or the Aston Villa game, you know, when he made the quick changes, taking Son off, taking certain plays off, and then it worked out for us and then it won. But on this occasion, unfortunately, he got it completely wrong. He's brought Werner on and he's left Son on, and he's making Son play like a false 9 or a secondary striker or a number 10, when really Maddison should have been inside there. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if he's fallen out with Maddison, and that's the reason why he's not bringing him on, because for me, against a mid to low block, he needs someone that's going to unlock the pick. Secondly, defensively, as we all know, Spurs have been open, and I've been calling us Tottenham Hotspurs because we're open like a brothel right now. Every man is taking us for dickheads. 3-point lane. If you want some goals, if you want some points, to step up. Teams aren't they haven't recorded the win. Crystal Palace ain't recorded a win. Come to Spurs, they get 3 points. You look at game we just played in Ipswich. They hadn't won all season. Yeah, they come to Spurs, they get 3 points. Why is that? Do you know what I'm saying? So me as a fan, I'm mad as hell. But I'm looking at not just tactically what ANGE has done, because he has got blood in his hands. I'll be real. But I'm looking at that right-hand side with Pedro Porro, Brennan Johnson, and Christian Romero. Because all season, and Deji will agree with me, all season, Romero has not been the same. His attention spans of a fly. He's not being physical like he normally is. Ever since they've given these guys like the second in command armband, like what's going on? Maddison's meant to be second in command. Why is he not coming on when we need something? Why is Romero not stepping up to the occasion? Do you know what I'm saying? It's all coming down from that right hand side, and they're scoring for that same goal from that back post. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no way Brennan Johnson, for me, he's got to react faster. He's got to be more physical. But I don't want to take Mr. Box Office's lyrics. Too many nice guys, bro. Brennan, get me, baby boy Brennan. You know what I'm saying? Bear gummy. What you do, my broski? I need you to man up. I need you to kind of step up and bring up your chest. We know he's not that guy yet. Do you know what I'm saying? But you need to help out your fullback. Porro, not checking his mirrors, not checking his shoulders, not anticipating balls over the top. Balls
never checks his mirrors, man. It does my head in.
My brother, I'm like, what are you doing? So, and bro, like I said, it wasn't like it's one game. It's not like it's 2 games. It's not like it's 3 games. It's like every time they score, it's down that same side. Let me go back to ANGE though, because I'm like, tactically, if we're going to have a single pivot and it's going to be Bentancur, yes, I think he did better by having Sarr next to him, because Sarr's got more mobility. He covers a lot of ground, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not mad at that. Do you know what I'm saying? But I need some tactical nous from ANGE. And he says, you know what? my bad. It's on me. So I need him to figure out how we look off the ball and what we do when we lose possession when we're high up that pitch. How are we going to stop teams from coming and counter-attacking us and getting goals and hitting the channels and hitting the wings and us conceding goals? Because I'm looking at your doggy as well. Your doggy's not off the hook either, you know.
Your
Your
doggy, man.
The amount of times I hear Deji saying, your doggy's getting doggied. I'm like, my brother, no, I'm not trying to hear that. So he's got blood in his hands too. Do you know what I'm saying? And then Son, he's not the most physical player defensively. I'm saying, raw, profile-wise, outside on the wings, we need players that can help our fullbacks out. Those centre back, those left backs, those right backs, we need wingers that are strong enough to help them when we lose the ball. Because Son's flimsy and so was Brendan. They ain't got no heart, no chest, no.
Come on, man.
You get me? Brother, we're from Tottenham. Tottenham, like, hey. Anyway, bro. That's what it is for me. But like you lot said, man, like as soon as we brought Werner in, you should have known what time it was, bro. I don't know why man got excited. Me personally, as soon as I saw Werner come in and then the window closed and Eze didn't come in after we missed out on Neto, because I'm like, raw, you missed out on Neto. What's next then? Who's next? Do you understand? So as soon as that happened and nothing followed up, we should have known what time it was, bro. Come on. Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm still not excusing Ange. And I'm Ange.
Bro, can I ask you a question though?
Go on.
I'm sorry, because I know box office is going to come and shut this thing down as well. Is that an Ange issue or Levy? Because a lot of men them say this is it's Levy's fault, but I'm saying
can I just say just answer this question because I'm fed up with hearing this about this. This is an Ange problem. I'm sorry. This whole thing. This is why now I did a video on Mr. Box Office TV and I said we're making excuses for this manager, right? This manager has put it on him. Yeah, I've not spoken about Daniel Levy for the last year, since this start of this season, because Ange has put it on him. Yeah, this is not on Levy anymore. Yes, he brought him in. And yes, he's got blood on his hands for a lot of the other things that over the years, yeah. But it's now got to a point now where he's been sitting with Daniel Levy, and Daniel Levy said things, and he's not said nothing. Yeah, he said all these players that he's brought in is on him. Yeah, he said a lot of things and everything else. Right, this is on Ange. I'm sorry, there's no way we can go on Daniel Levy. I'm sorry, it's the go-to subject now. Yeah, it's like, oh well, and if he's lying, well, I can't trust him then. I can't trust his words. I can't trust what he's saying then. I'm sorry, this guy is I'm sorry, this guy is not good. He's not a good coach. He's proven because no one's improved. Everyone's complaining about Poro. Everyone's complaining about Adoji, who are wing backs, not fullbacks, right? Romero should be dropped for Davis. And people say I'm being mad, but we said we didn't need any defenders because we didn't want any youngsters. We wanted to block the pathway for our youngsters. Yeah, I blame him about Timo Werner, even that idiot of a director of football, Johan Lange, which is now I'm going back to now. Asmatic, this is embarrassing because you heard me as well, yeah? I want Paratici back. That's embarrassing because I've been chastising this guy since he's been at the club. I'm sorry, it's embarrassing, yeah? And you know, that strike force is on him. It's on him because he wanted Alderbert. And like I said, I want Neto. Neto was a bit. Neto, I saw Neto all last season. I said, that's my guy. That's my guy, bruv. You know what I mean?
It's my guy.
That is my guy. But he goes to Chelsea. I hear Tottenham fans saying, "Oh, he's rubbish. He's rubbish." You telling me he's rubbish right now?
I never said he was rubbish. I wanted him, but you know,
you telling me you're rubbish right now? I mean, I don't think these Tottenham fans actually realise we had David Ginola. Yeah, I'd rather have Aaron Lennon. Yeah,
that's true.
We had brilliant wingers in our club before. Yeah, we had brilliant strikers, and now we're left with Richarlison, who's an injury note. That's it. Yeah, we got Brendan Johnson that we're celebrating because he had a purple patch. Yeah, Alderbert, that's raw. Yeah, Timo Werner, the below average Shane Long, German Shane Long, that should never have been at our club before. Now I'm hearing people saying, "Oh, he's got a Champions League." Well, Perisic's had multiple Champions Leagues, and we let him go. So don't get me started. You know what I mean? I was supposed to be calm about this, but when I hear this stuff about our club, it's just embarrassing. And that's why I go to bloody soccer bits, because at least I get some joyful than that. I was at Dubai last week. I was more enjoyable than watching Tottenham. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. I'm sorry. And don't even get me started about that midfield as well, by the way, because I'm sorry. Bentancur is no. I'll tell you, he's on borrowed time. I tell you. Yeah, you think okay, but I think you're absolutely spot on. He needs to be in a double pivot. I don't trust that midfield, man.
I like the prop system. I just picking up on my bro box office. For me, I think the squad. One thing I will give Postecoglou credit for is that I do think he's amassed a decent team. In terms of this team can easily get top 4 if managed right. The issue has been the mismanagement. Like, I agree. I think under Pochettino, this team does well. I actually think this team does well under Conte.
And Mourinho. Look at the team Mourinho had. Look at the team Mourinho had. Yeah. So, and you telling me that Mourinho's not cooking with this team?
I just counter that quick. I think with Conte, remember, he had Skip and he had Sarr, and he chose Skip. And I will say on this, Ange did want Van der Ven. So I think under Conte, Van der Ven wouldn't exist. Do you see what I'm saying? Eric Dyer would still be here under Mourinho, because Mourinho rated Eric Dyer, and we probably would have a back three. I'm just saying.
Do you know what? That's where I got.
He has made a good point there. To be honest,
the problem for me is I agree with a lot of the things you guys have said about Ange. I think tactically he looks out of his depth at times. I think it's clear to see. You said the Brighton game, Deji. Just to be fair, the Brighton manager tactically outclassed Pep as well on the weekend. We saw that second half, great football. So that manager clearly he knows what he's doing with his team. That you can't take nothing away from them praise. But with Ange, for me, I think where I look at it and say there's some weaknesses is definitely the talent ID. I think that needs to be questioned because some of the players and some of the people that he's relying on, the likes of Brennan Johnson, the likes of Timo Werner, the fact that they've had such big roles in this team in key positions, by the way, because the wingers are the key position to an Ange system. If he doesn't have top wingers, I can't see our team thriving because all the goals come from wing to wing, wing to wing. The ball's always cutting back across the box. So I feel like those are key things that may cost him. But I do think that the players are an issue. We have to address it. When you look at his system, and like you say, playing a single pivot, you can only play a single pivot if you have a guy that's comfortable enough in the six to shield the defense, cover the ground, and be really good at winning the ball back. Like, they've got to be an XO bully, pit bull terrier in there, just winning it back everywhere. Someone like Sarr, when he's on the ball.
Or I would say, just to add to that, if you're not going to be a pit bull in that number 6 role, when you're in that 6 role and you're playing from deep, we don't want Maddison dropping back, or we don't want one of our midfielders in the 8 or /10s. We don't want them picking it up. We want that 6 to take it off this fullback or take it off the centre back and be able to progress that ball either through passing or through ball carrying / dribbling. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what Basuma was doing in the first 10 games. Remember, that's why he was good in the 6. He was able to take it off the fullback, the centre back, get on a half turn, and then take the ball up the pitch. And then all of a sudden, it looked like we had attack. But when Basuma ain't doing that, then it's like, what's the point of you being here, Basuma? Do you see what I'm trying to say? That's the problem. That's the problem
for me, Ash. Go on. Is we have these players that on their day, their class, like Udogie, I think he's actually a really good player, but this season he's not performed to the level he was at last year. Pedro Porro, on his day, can be a good player, but a lot of these players, for me, complacency is the issue. We talk about mentality. I feel like I've been in a never-ending dream as a Spurs fans because we go around the same circle with these players, with the team. We get to the same point, and then we start again, and it's a new cycle. Like, we have left back and right back. We have one player in each position. We remember under Pochettino, right, when you had Kyle Walker, Danny Rose, no competition. And then when you brought Kieran Trippier in, you started to see, Kyle Walker can get better. This guy's taking up a level. That's what we need. We need competition. And I think that's what's killing us right now is because Porro's been in that right back position with no one challenging him for pretty much his whole time at Spurs. He had Emerson Royale, man. That's chicken Royale, bro. Have you not seen what the AC Milan fans have been saying about him? This guy's absolutely trash. And then the left side, we've got no one to challenge Udogie. So for me, I just feel like a lot of the positions where you have key players where you need Ange's system to be performing, we don't have the competition. So when the performance levels are dropping, there's no one else to come in and fill those roles.
Can I be real? I mean, I've asked publicly, and I will be doing it later on Spurs King TV. I've asked for the Spurs job, and I'm asking for the job, and I don't need to be paid. In fact, I'm willing to do pay as you go. Let me explain why. I think these managers today are a little bit too creative. I think Pedro Porro and Udogie, they just need it simple. I want a flat back four. Forget this inverted thing. The inverted thing is pissing me off. What happened to the good old-fashioned overlap? I want overlap. What I'll be telling Udogie is, can you overlap Son? Not invert, overlap. That's all you need to do. Because of this inverted rubbish, these men are confused. You're right. He doesn't want any sixes. What does that even mean? That means don't stand in the middle of the pitch. So these men are just moving hella about the place when really they just want to stand still. I think if he actually just kept it simple and like box office is right, with the double pivot of Bentancur and Basuma, bro, that something's done. But this creativity is too much for these men. And also, I just want to just add this quick point as well. I want to like these brothers. But when I look at their faces, I just see schoolboys. When I look at Brighton, when I look at West Ham, when I look at even United, I see men. When I look at our team, I just see little boys. What are little boys going to do in the Prem? I'm sorry, unless you're Yamin Lamau, your generational talent, you ain't doing diddly squat. Do you get me? I'm looking at, that's what, bro, I swear, Dan, Ash, I'm looking at you, yeah? If you got, luckily, the YouTube thing is a receipt, yeah? When I did the Crystal Palace watch-along and I saw the Palace lineup, I actually paused. Even though I came out and said, I think we still win, I paused.
Me too.
Why? I saw Mandem. I went, this could be long, you know. This could be long. And it was. These men couldn't get a sniff against these brothers. So for me, I want to, oh gosh. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's poor. It's just poor all around. These men, you can't go to war with these men. They can't. And it's not their fault. It ain't their fault. They shouldn't be put in this situation in the first place. And that's why I'm vexed with Postecoglou.
The thing is though, right? And I've explained it. I'm going to explain it on Mr. Box Office TV. I've been a supporter for so long now. I've been a supporter since 1998, right? And even looking at the history, yeah. And you can see from that moment, I mean, I was like a lot of people, you know, very much happy. You know, I wanted to see my team really well. I didn't like the fact that we were getting dissed a lot of the time. And you just grow. You know, now I'm 37 years old, so I'm not no silly guy anymore. You know what I mean? You know, I know what a good player is. So when someone gives me XG, saying we've got great XG, field till, whatever that rubbish is, you know what I mean? I'm sitting there thinking, really? And this is the same people that say, oh, Brendan Johnson looks good, Kulusevski looks good. And I'm looking at these players.
Look good. Wait, Mr. Box Office.
No, he's on good form. He's in good form. He's on good form. That's it. He ain't that great. He ain't. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry because like the guy was the reason why people are going over the top about him because he wasn't that great last season. But if you really look at it, when you look at him, when he was back at Parma, which was I don't know how many years ago before he went to Juventus, he's doing the same thing there. But I think he's doing even more. That was doing even more there. To be honest with you, yes, he's on good form, but he ain't. I
don't think it's form though, Alex. I think that even when Kane was here, during his first and second season, he had that full year with Kane. He had half the year with Kane. I thought that Kulusevski was the best creator and the guy that was setting up most of our best chances for Kane, especially all of our best play came down that right side. Since Kulusevski's come off the right side.
First 6 months, though, that was.
I'd say the second that season as well.
Yeah.
When Conte got sacked, I think it's fair to say that Kulusevski was one of our better performers in that season. Actual performances wise, I thought just all everything that was creative, especially during Conte's time, came through Kulusevski and down the right hand side. We didn't really have nothing outside of that, and that's why right now it's so surprising to see, like when Ash alluded to, is our right hand side is our weakest side of the pitch. Defensively, we look an absolute mess, and even going forward, we've got absolutely nothing to offer. I think I'd be more than up for replacing the whole right hand side. I don't think Pedro Porro Romero or Brennan Johnson are unreplaceable. Most definitely.
I think the problem is, okay. I mean, unfortunately, we don't agree on this one on Kulusevski. I think he's on good form, and I know what a good player is. I'm sorry. I think Maddison should be there. I think Maddison gets a hard bill sometimes. Yes, he hasn't been playing well, but if he at least play him number 10, you know what I mean? He's been doing this number 6, coming number 8, coming number. No. Put him number 10. Put him either on the left or put him where he should be. The team.
But Madders ain't been on form.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, Deji.
What box office is saying? Like every time Maddison plays on that left hand side, the doggy's been in his position. The doggy's been in that kind of number 10 role in that kind of midfield where you want Maddison to be. So anytime Maddison picks the ball up, he's playing a little bit.
But he played good last year, just like that same period you said Basuma was thriving. Maddison was.
No, you're right. He was literally picking up the ball, dictating, etc. But I think what it was for that period, a lot of teams didn't know what ANGE was about, what our tactics were about, and I think now that they've clocked on to what we're doing, it's like Maddison has to go and get that retrieve the ball because there's no space because teams are plugging up that center. Do you know what I mean? And now they're asking different questions. Can we unlock what, the other teams have put against us? Can we do something different? And that's why fans are looking at it and saying, right, instead of letting Maddison be 6, 8, 10, just let him be the 10 like he was at Leicester, in between the lines, in between the defensive line and midfielder line. Let him get those shots from outside the box. Let him arrive late into the box. Let him be that dictator where he can pass in between the lines into Solanke and give him that supply. Because Solanke, remember, Solanke's dropping off. Solanke's doing the 10. Really, if you deep it, Solanke's not really being in the box like that. He's been in the box, but he sometimes floats. And I think the best of Solanke is when he's in the box on the shoulder of the defender. Make him be a proper striker, number 9, a target man. And I think we'll get more out of him. Do you know what I'm saying? E.g., wingers whipping crosses into the box because he's in the right position. He's more likely to get into the front post or near the penalty spot for goals. Do you know what I mean? Where he's doing 2 roles, dropping off. Go on, Deji. Go on.
I've got a question. So obviously, if I got the job, I would want you to be my right hand. Do you get me? And that's not a part to you because you could easily do the job. So if you know all of this about our club and it's so simple in your mind, how can you be ANGE?
Because ANGE said as well at the end of the game, and this is the test now. I want to see what happens next, innit? I want to see what he learns because clearly he's learning on the job. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not sure the managers out there at the moment, are they going to be able to take over his reign, fix Spurs in a short spurt, and maybe in a short term they could fix us, but I don't know what they could do long term. Now you spoke about who did you say? The Bournemouth manager, right?
Yeah,
I think
Areola.
If he came in, I think we'll get possibly a manager bounce, just like Ange did. But long term, I have my question marks. Could he do much better? Because it depends what you want as a fan. Some fans want top 4, some fans want cups. Now, if you're a fan that wants cups, you kind of have to ride it out and see how it goes. Do you know what I'm saying? Because technically, we're still in all competitions. Technically,
Asthmatic. It's the question I have for Ange at the moment. I think he's not a good coach, right? I think Tottenham are better with coaches, right?
But he's got coaches underneath him. He teaches.
Yeah, but the coaches obviously are not good enough because they're not improving, and he's not. And he's. You can tell by the fact that who has actually improved. Who's actually improved?
One is new. we're going to really come this year. Do you know what I'm saying? He's brand new in the job with the other brother. Do you know what I'm saying?
But he's doing set pieces, bruv.
There's two coaches.
Just before you guys go on, we got a big another special guest in the building. Man
Hello.
like Jacob, United Spurs America. How you doing, my bro?
Hey, man.
Right
I'm
now.
the first flag in the US, my guy. What are you saying?
Hey, first of all, big up to everybody on the panel. Secondly, when George told me what kind of a panel he was putting together, I said, I not only got to be there, but I must neglect my family to be there. So I put the kids and the wife there. I shoved them in the other room. I closed it. I locked it. And I made sure to get on here with you gentlemen. So thanks for having me, man.
No, big up. And do you know what? You came in at the perfect time, Jacob, because that's what we're discussing right now. I know you've been tuned locked in. And Alex asked a good question. Alex, do you want to ask? Oh no, sorry, Deji. Deji asked a good question. Do you want to ask Jacob the same question? Because I'm sure, similar to me and myself.
Yeah, Jacob. I've got two questions, but I'll ask the first one first. I said, if we know, because Ashmat has been breaking down what Postecoglou needs to do, I think we can all see it. We're not moving like we're smoking Budgie Banton, and we're not moving like we're Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder. It's quite obvious the changes that needs to be made. He's not done it. So why are we ANGE in? You know me, I love the football, but my issue with Postecoglou is I haven't seen any sign that one, he's got good game management, but even worse, when we should be winning, I don't see any signs that he knows how to motivate the squad. Because you can have good days against Villa, but the true test is when you play the Ipswiches, the Crystal Palaces of this world, and we've fallen short on each occasion.
So there's a few ways that I do want to approach the subject of that and the few points that you brought up there. So I'll start with this. Has Tottenham capitulated to these Crystal Palaces, Ipswiches, 45 minutes versus Brightons? Have we done this in the past? Jose, Conte, Nuno, Poch, even before that? If the answer is yes, then I would indicate to me that this is a symptom of a bigger problem, not something that is specific to ANGE Postecoglou. But there's also something you said in regards to you haven't seen any evidence of him changing it up. I would say when he shell-shocked everybody in the stadium and most of the people watching on the television, hooking Madison at halftime, bringing on Sarr, and then we put 3 on their head real quick, that looked like a change to me. And then also I would say tactically, there are times in which he asks the fullbacks to do different things. He's asked Destiny to invert less, hug the touchline more, and do the overlap 1-2 with Son. I don't see that as much on the Poro and Brendan Johnson's side, but they did used to do that. So I do see little things. There's little tiny nuances. It's not going to be this grandiose, now it's 5 at the back, 3 at the back. No, it ain't going to be. You're lucky if we get 2 at the back. So I don't think that he has shown that he won't change or that he's unable to change. I think, but in regards to the other point of him motivating the team, or this notion that he's got his hands in his pockets and he's clueless on the touchline, not doing anything, how can the players get motivated if the manager's standing there with his hands in his pockets? I would say you're supposed to listen to the dude all week. And if it takes him with some pom-poms and a little skirt going, woo, go boys, go. If that's what it takes for you to fucking play, sorry for the F-bomb, George, but if that's what it takes for you to play the damn game, then you have a problem as a player. You are a loser, and I don't need ANGE flailing around like Arteta, whom I and other Spurs fans have taken the full piss out of for his antics on the touchline. But then when our manager doesn't act like that, now it's, well, he doesn't have a clue. He's got his hands in his pockets, yada, yada. That's just an assumption. And I would say those people who are body language experts should apply for the FBI.
I would say this though, Jacob, and me and you, we're very good friends. And big up to everyone.
Oh, I love every single person on this panel right now.
The one thing, you see, the problem I think I have with ANGE is that you can't talk a big game and then when shit hits the fan, you can't back it. So I'll tell you this. He says that he sits down and he understands the player before he buys them and he gets into their mentality. So if you're telling me this is an issue with the player, then what sort of questions was he asking before he signed them? Because surely that's what you're trying to find out. You're trying to find out if the going gets tough, are they going to run scared or are they going to stand and fight? Those are the questions. Are these people winners or are they losers? And
if I may, from the 11 that lost to Ipswich, from that 11, Deji, Radu Dragusin, sure, let's say that's his signing. It was in January last year, in his tenure. Vicario, we apparently were scouting him before even ANGE was appointed because of our whole data analytic, whatever approach that they want to say. So Vicario is kind of a question mark for me. But you could effectively say Brennan Johnson, Dominic Solanke, Radu Dragusin, 3 out of 11 are for sure the players that he did the research you were just explaining. So I would say that the capitulation isn't necessarily a mindset of the players that he's recruited, or that there's also a comment I saw early on whenever I was just watching as well, talking about, and maybe it's all these other shows, you know, Ash, I don't know. You weren't there yesterday on your own channel, but I said one word and your whole chat just couldn't get off my dick. I promise you. Like, I was like, Jay-Z rolled up to the entrepreneur club and all the entrepreneurs couldn't wait to shake that thing on me. I said one thing. I just said, Big Ange is cooking with a fire emoji. Cause you know, that's always fun. And they win. How could you win? Ipswich win. Oh, shut your ass up. They were getting all upset, but big up Marlon. He handled it like a true G. But I would say this, like, this is, these players that we bring in, whether Ainge says yes, they're mine, or he doesn't at all, like, it doesn't change what I know. I don't change what I feel and what I know based off of what another man says. And that's Ainge, that's Levy, that's you, that's my neighbor, that's any grown man in this world can't tell me shit. I know what I know. Now, there's certain things I know that I say, hey, I do not know enough about. Please educate me. And I'm humble enough for that. But what I do know is that Tottenham have bought in bullshit players for really, really good managers. So when we're buying bullshit players for a transitional manager, am I really holding him accountable for that decision? I'm not. Some may. I don't. The ones that I do, there's 2 names that I specifically always will, because that's how I see it, is Brennan Johnson and Dominic Solanke are 2 names that he's absolutely stapled to his chest. However, the Timo Werner, Lucas Bergvall, Archie Gray, all that other bullshit, that is the club. And whether you agree or don't want it, whatever, we're going to get Emerson Royale. Who was he bought for? Who was Joe Rodon bought for? Who was Gedson Fernandez bought for? Can you tell me that those managers wanted those players? I can tell you Jose Mourinho never once said, give me Gedson Fernandez. I don't think anyone's ever said that.
Difference is, Jacob, every single player that it comes through the club, he says he accepts. Yeah.
Okay, but say accepting is not. No, but hang on, though, because Alex, if I may, you say that he accepts, and I say sure. That's what he has said to us. What he has said and shown to us is that he is willing to accept this. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he accept whatever the hell we offer up to him? This is the biggest job he's ever had. Of course, he's going to accept it.
So he's a weak manager then.
That's a relative term, and I don't think that makes him weak. Do you have a job, Alex? Is there a boss you have, and they say, Alex, go do this, and you're like, no, I'm not going to do it. You didn't give me the right pin. No, you're not listening. No, see, you're not listening. This is where you refuse to listen, Alex. I love you so much, and I have all the time in the world for you, Alex, you know, but you don't listen. And this is, you think about what you want to say rather than hearing what I'm saying. And my wife does it too, and I love her to death. So really great. It's easy to do. I'm saying that, like, Timo Werner, Ainge standing up in front of the bullets being shot at Timo Werner is what a fucking good manager should do. It's what a strong man would do. It's what a father figure, if you will, would do. If it was one of my kids, I'd stand in front of that too. If Timo Werner, yeah, he probably is like, this guy's a piece of shit. Did I want him again? No. Can we get him back on a loan on reduced wages? Sure. And a reworked release clause? Sure. This guy, you know, sure, he accepted it. And if he's at fault for accepting the crap that this club offers up, that's fine. But so did Jose, so did Conte, so did Nuno, so did Poch, so did any manager, anyone want to prop up. They accepted the bullshit that Enoch and Levy given them. So I don't want to make this about the board and the ownership because that's a very boring conversation. But ultimately, when Timo Werner's, Archie Gray's, Lucas Bergvall's, and all that is what we get, And people are like, oh, look at ANGE spent $400 million. No, he didn't. Shut up. Does anyone? He didn't spend $400 million. They didn't give him an open checkbook and say, go to the grocery store with your wise prowess. You're just so evergreen, like knowledge of players. No one did that. No one would ever do that. They didn't do it for Arne Slot at Liverpool. They give him what the club wants to give him. And for me, him accepting that is not an indictment on him, unless it's an indictment on Jose, it's an indictment on Conte, and I don't see it as such.
Yeah, but Jose and Conte did not accept it. They made it quite clear with certain players.
Well, they stayed here. They stayed here till we kicked their ass out.
But they made it quite
that sounds like they accepted it.
They made it quite clear that they didn't want the players.
Yeah, they said, I don't like the taste, but I'm still going to eat it.
I can't accept that because I'm sorry. I can't accept the fact that he's taken Timo Werner twice. And the man below you right now, Esmatic, my boy Esmatic, from Spurs Kings TV, every Tuesday night gives me plays for free that are better than Timo Werner in a lifetime, bro. Sorry, don't tell me that rubbish. Yeah? And again, what I said before, yeah? And I'm blaming that blooming Johan Lang. And now I'm going back to saying I want Prodigy back at my club. That's embarrassing, Jacob. That's embarrassing.
You know, I think you'll be happy to know, Alex,
when Prodigy got me Bentancur, the reject from Juventus, but he was better than what we got at the moment. The Basuma, right? Kulusevski, right? Romero, yeah, proper players, men players, bruv. That got mentality, bruv, yeah. Not even the fact that we
saying that, but we've all just admitted, Mr. Alex, that Romero's a player that hasn't. For me, he's a player that's been killing us this year with his mentality. Like,
I agree with you. But the fact is, we have not got any decent players. Dragusin is a bloody ANGE signing because he accepted it. I'm sorry, I'm not having.
Yeah, wait. I do agree, Alex, that there has to be some degree of, blame thrown at ANGE because these
all the times he's played him, all the times he's played Timo Werner, I agree. I blame him for those as well.
Right, because Timo Werner, and to be honest, I'll say that it's clear to see Timo Werner wasn't one of his signings because you could see from the start of the season, Odegaard got thrown into the team straight away. That's a young player with not much experience.
Why is he buying him in then, George?
He's not bad. Odegaard wasn't too bad.
But that's the thing. He doesn't want to use Werner. But at the moment, it's clear to see that Werner's the only option. Werner's given more off the left wing than, to be fair, Sonny is some games with his movement and how you say chaotic he can be. But obviously, the problem with Werner is once you get into the final third, what's going to happen? And that's what I see the problem with our team. You have to look at ANGE and say, ANGE is doing There's one thing that Pep said, a very famous quote. I can only coach the team into the final third. And going into the final third entries, all the stats you just have to look at is Tottenham are very good at doing this. We can get the ball into the final third. We can break teams down. The problem comes when we're in front of goal, when we're in that final third. We're doing too much, being a bit over pretty in the box, trying to do a few too many passes.
George, but what you're saying, from what you just said, right, this shows you what the problem is. ANGE can't handle strong characters. Yeah, the players that have left this club, right? Forget Skip because that was a right decision. That was a good decision, yeah. Right, but the Celso, strong character, couldn't handle him.
It's crazy.
Strong character, couldn't handle him. Perisic, strong character, couldn't handle him. You know what I mean?
Perisic went because he was injured. We're not playing that one.
What?
Matt O'Reilly,
what in the world are we doing? This is how the chat acts too, and other channels. It's crazy.
Matt O'Reilly from Celtic, right? It went to Brighton. That everyone that I've got to give credit to Sava because he was the one that was talking about him so long.
Yeah, Matt O'Reilly
right?
did, yeah.
Matt O'Reilly, who's just come off injured, scored the winning goal against Brighton, against Manchester City. That shows you mentality. This guy couldn't get on with bloody Postecoglou.
Don't do that. We've beaten Man City how many times? We beat Man City just the other day. Timo Werner scored.
I'm just talking about had an
all-star performance against a couple weeks ago.
Oh, Jordan, you're not allowed to talk. No, you're not allowed to talk about that win because it doesn't count, because it doesn't fit the narrative. Just like why they always go, oh, in X amount, 18 games, 17 games. We've played 11 Premier League games, but they're telling me a stat about 19 Premier League games. Fuck that stat. Talk to me about this year.
The only thing I would say in Postecoglou, I do think that he has amassed a team that should be doing a lot better than what it is doing. I think we need to accept that. And I think part of the reason for the outrage is not because we can see that the team could have easily done better this season had it been managed right. And I would also go as far as to say, had we had the right personnel. So this thing of having a target man that we don't target, that don't make no sense to me. We're not looking for Solanke. Why not? His strengths are make him your main man. He bags goals. And that's why I said if we were to lose Postecoglou, I would take Areola. Brennan Johnson, for me, is not the type of right winger I want. I agree. He had a good run of form. But to be honest, he's not a Neto. He's not an Elanga. He's not a Matoma. You know what I mean? He's not a Son when Son was in his prime. He's just a nice boy who runs in a straight line and tries to whip the ball across the goal. That's it. Do you get what I'm saying? I want bad man. Do you get what I'm saying? I want an Eze. I want bad man in my team. And for me, that's the bit where I find it a little bit I don't want to say unforgivable, but this is the point that I want to make. And I'm making this to Jacob as well. You know me, I've been backing ANGE all year. I've been backing the ball. I still back the ball. But what I can't take is the level of inconsistencies here. I'm not prepared to watch Tottenham lose 19 games this season. And that's what potentially we're looking at. Let's just be real. We win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Do you get what I'm saying? We are on course to losing 19 games. Are you prepared to take that? Also, you guys will know, I've never been on this Tottenham table where it's okay to finish 15th for a Carabao Cup. You must be smoking Budgie Banton. No way. If we're taking the Carabao, I don't mind having the Carabao and us being in the top 4. But hell no, I'll be damned, as my people would say overseas, for us to finish 15th with a Carabao. Hell no,
I'll be damned.
That used to be called the Milk Cup. There is absolutely no way that I'm accepting a Carabao Cup. It's in the name, but it used to be called Carling Cup. This is a drink trophy, bro. This is tiny. It's a little cup that you have for the week.
It's still the last final we played in, though.
For a couple of weeks. I have to agree with Deji here. We're not going to accept a Carabao Cup like we did with under One Day Ramos when we finished 11th. That's not acceptable. That's a very
yeah.
Wait. Let me get this one. Wait. Is Mandem saying if we finish outside the top 4
outside the top 10
this season, yeah, Ange out. Ange has got to go.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm saying? Is that what you say, box office as well? George.
Box office is already Ainge out.
I wouldn't say outside the top 4. I think
outside the top 10.
Oh, but if no one has a trophy,
with a Carabao, it's a disgrace.
Trophy. Like no one's wants to
I swear, we operate like that dude who's sitting at home right now, might be listening to this in a dark room. The only light is illuminating from the computer he's typing on. He's got Cheeto dust and Oreo dust all over his belly, chin, stash, and fingers. And he's saying, "Oh, she's not a 10. Look at her eyebrows." That's what we're doing right now. I hope y'all know.
Like for me,
like if she's not a 10, it's facts. You can't lie.
I mean, yeah, but you're right. A Carabao Cup is not a 10. But as for a Cheeto dusty mother, I would just appreciate some love. That's what all I'm saying. I don't want 15th, and I'll take 15th in Europa, but we'll never get. Ainge wouldn't get to that point where he could see out the Europa if we drop that low. If we did drop down that low, like realistically, he would be sacked. No, I don't think anyone could support that. But there's something else that Deji said there. We're on track to lose X amount of games. Well, if that's the case, Brennan Johnson's on track to have damn near 30 GA. If these stats hold true, right? Which I don't think they will. These are things that happen, things that occur. And honestly, Ipswich was a complete failure of mentality. And that's where I want to go back to is the leadership in this team. I think there was a point brought up by another channel that was Ainge Postecoglou making this leadership group is what it could be his downfall. Because look, our last leadership group, who did it have? Old boozy drinking ass Hugo Lloris, who can't wait to write a memoir of the atrocities that occurred at White Hart Lane to the poor drunk Frenchman. So we've got that. He's like, oh yeah, we got watches, and it's all this drama. So like, to me, I just, I I would like a little consistency like everybody else. When we won 5 games in a row and we lost one, I said, now go win me 5 in a row and then lose one. That's fine. But trends don't hold in those in that sense. Like, I don't think that trends they're trends for a reason, and they're not like a behavioral thing.
Can I ask a quick question? Because I asked it on my show just a moment ago. So our next 3 games is, and I'm looking at everyone's faces. People in the chat, look at my brother's faces right now. Our next 3 games is Man City,
Roma,
Fulham, and Bournemouth.
Oh, Premier League.
Oh, Premier League, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I did a blueprint a few weeks back where I said I was predicting Tottenham's next 4 games, and that was at the time where we had Villa, Ipswich, City, and Fulham. And for the first time, I predicted Spurs to get 3 points in those 4 games. But I just want to know from your faces, given what you've seen, given what Jacob's just said, what do you expect Spurs to do in our next 3 games?
3 to 6 points.
I said 7 points, but now I'm thinking maybe 6 because
you see 2 wins away to Bournemouth.
No, remember we spoke about it. We spoke about it, and I said 7 points at the time, and I'm like, oh, 6. Oh, I don't know.
Bournemouth has beat City. They've beat Arsenal. They've beat, or I think they. Didn't they? I don't know if they played.
I'll be real. And this is why I think the problem with Spurs as a whole is you can't predict Spurs. These are the games where we go in and you think, yeah, it's going to be tough, but somehow, some way, we walk out with 7 or 8 points. We go
because these players are losers. I have defended Cuti Romero for years, and I'm done. I can't stand watching this motherfucker let dudes do this. And he's, oh, let me run, let me stop, let me run. Just get your motherfucking ass. If he's flirting with Real Madrid, if Pedro Porro's flirting, these fullbacks as well. I love that I got Destiny's shirt behind me. If they're struggling and I want to show my support and I love you, I took Kuti's shirt down. The motherfucker. How many? I blame him for everyone blamed ANGE for the mentality collapse. I blame the leaders on the pitch. Again, I don't want pom-pom cheerleader manager. I want manager to instill and stand there and do your job. But again, I've seen it cut to him a lot of times where he is yelling and gyrating. He was doing it at Galatasaray. He also was doing it versus Ipswich. A lot of movement from the man, even though the camera's cut to him in his pockets and his hands. But my point again is that the leaders on the pitch are the ones who are supposed to fucking pull me through. I'm looking at Son. I'm looking at Romero and Madison. You were named the leaders of this group, and you know what? You've had a full season of being the leaders. This is your 2nd season. The expectations are higher. Same thing with Vicario. There is no more cushion leeway period. It's you need to pull us through when we versus Brighton. What I saw Romero do after I think it was the 2nd or 3rd goal we conceded in that second half. He looked like a lost puppy, and then he hung his head. If you're one of those fuckers in that team and you're like, oh, guys, I really need and you're looking at Romero and he's like, and then he hangs his head down, you know what? Your head might drop too. And I think that is a problem. And every time he's been a captain, we fucking lose.
No, 100%. And that's the thing, Jacob, is, I mean, we were both, we Rolls Royce Romero, we had the name, we were going back and forth. I remember there were streams.
I'm eternally mean, Cuti, man.
We were gunning down on guys talking about Saliba versus Romero. We looking like fools right now, but it's
Jacob, I told you so. I just want to say
he had a great year last year. What you can't take away is last year he was comparable, but this year in 11 matches in the Premier League, European matches included, I don't think he's been good.
No,
I just want to make a quick point, and this is not a dig at Jacob whatsoever, because Jacob is my brother. But Jacob, remember me and you were Romero in, and then I blamed Romero.
I do remember this.
Points dropped against Leicester,
and I attacked you.
Romero's fault against Newcastle. I said Romero again against Arsenal. Remember, I'm just saying that I caught the train early. Under normal circumstances, I'm not shifting from Postecoglou, but I do think there is an issue there. And if we don't want to see it, then I'm saying, at what point will we all wake up to see that maybe he isn't the one? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I had the same foresight as Mr. Box Office, it's just, it dawned on me against that Ipswich game is more pivotal than people give it credit for.
No, I hear it
That
still.
game right there
Look.
was when the straw that broke the camel's back. That game
Yeah.
right there went, rah!
Yeah. I'll be honest.
I don't trust you no more.
I'll be
And
honest
just
with
on
you.
that, yeah, because
Are you saying you don't trust Ainge? Just specifically, who are you saying? Ainge or Kuti for the Ipswich game? Bro, there's a highlight of Romero looking like a fucking passenger back there. And it really upsets me. It really, really grinds my gears to see him do that. Because he's supposed to be our best player. For me, he was coming into this season supposed to be our best player.
I'll drop him. I would have dropped him from the Arsenal.
But for
game.
Dragusin, who that's what they said. Drop him for Dragusin.
We literally can't afford, and that's the problem I think with all of our best players. Is you look at Son, you look at Maddison, and maybe not Maddison at the moment, but Maddison, Son, Romero are three players that, when you really look at the team, we can't afford to drop, because once you drop them, you see the drop off in the level of the team. You see the people that
Not
are
Maddison.
just aren't at the level. Maddison not at the moment, but that's because we generally have a stacked midfield, and we've seen the rise of Kulusevski and the fall of Madders at the same time in his role. But just to take it back a second, because a few of us have all mentioned. And I think one of the key problems with Spurs, and do you know what? Again, I look at ANGE, because ANGE has said, and I know Mr. Box Office touched on it earlier, is when he brings in all of these players and all of his signings, one of the things he does is he talks about the call he has these players. He calls them up. He talks about to see if they have the right mentality, if they want to come play for the club, and they're coming here for the right reasons. But we've all acknowledged that we haven't got no leaders on the pitch. There's no leaders or experience on that field for when the going gets tough. Oh, you're doing this, and you need a player on the pitch to coach as well, because you have a coach on the sidelines, and like you guys said, he tends to be very stoic. I don't have a problem with it. Carlo Ancelotti, in one of our biggest games, one of the biggest capitulations of Spurs, if you guys remember, 5-4 Everton in the FA Cup. I remember Ancelotti was sat there, he had his little cup of soup, didn't even brush an eyelid at any of the goals, just sat in his pocket in his hands, knowing his team's going to do something. Top managers are stoic at times. But what are we going to do about this issue? Do you guys think that we have any leaders in the ranks coming through, or anyone in the squad that can step up? Or are we just going to have to wait until one?
This isn't an easy answer. This isn't an easy answer. No. I said from this very day dot, there's no leaders in the team. I said straight away, I need a Locatelli in my team. Yeah, because he's a winner. Yeah,
Man, you didn't say that till this summer. You didn't say that last summer.
No, well, listen, I looked at him, I thought, yeah, cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, and what is it? What is it? I wanted the Matt O'Reilly. I just needed someone different. I needed people that are just got composure in the team. There's no composure in the team, and don't talk to me about Bentancur, because when it goes to go and gets tough,
would have brought it.
This guy loses it, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, big up to my boy Esmatic, bruv. Yeah, you better all go and watch Spurs Kings TV, the rival show, after this show, bruv. By the way, yeah, big up to him, bruv. Yeah, every single time. But like, no, I'm sorry. I don't think we have any leaders, because Son is not a leader. Too much a nice guy. Yeah, Romero's too hot-headed, right? And he's twerking to go to Real Madrid. Big up my boy Asmatic, bro.
Big up to Ash, man. Big up for joining.
Ash,
Make
bro.
sure you guys go check out Spurs Kings later, man. They're gonna be going live too.
Yeah.
But go on.
Yeah, but I just don't rate them. Like, I'm sorry, there's no like Michael Dawson, no Sol Campbell, no Ledley King, no Tim Sherwood, no like proper captains. Yeah, Roy Keane wouldn't have this. He wouldn't have this. He would say, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, there's no youngsters in the team as well. Like, you know what I mean? There's like no actual like leader to say to like Archie Gray or Burval saying, "What you doing, bruv? You think you're big, bruv? You're not big. You're not big time, bruv. You ain't got nothing yet, bro. You know what I mean? Where is that? None of them, bro. I'm sorry. Nah, I'm sorry. I don't rate it. I'm sorry.
I somewhat align and agree with Alex here for the most part, that I think that we don't. I can hold my hands up and say when Son was appointed captain, I felt like he was the only one who could be a captain at that point. And then when the full year finished, I remember I was kind of reluctant. I don't know. I saw him vocal. I don't think he's too nice of a guy. I just don't know if he's the right voice, if that makes sense. And I've always been one that tried to fight against when he was appointed captain and everyone's like, oh, he shouldn't be captain. He's not, you know, all the things that Alex said. I always tried to fight that and try and say, like, you don't have to be the stereotypical, like, a man, the cardboard cutout of a man's man to be a leader. However, in practice, I can't really argue that Son has been a great captain for us, but I would say he's clearly the best captain we have right now. Because when it falls off to Romero, we lose. When it falls off to Madison, we lose. We don't win when they're captains. And to me, like, I don't blame them completely, but there's something to be said there that the lack of leadership is evident, that I don't know how I would use anything that, you know, from Son to say that he has been a good leader or that Romero's been a good leader. Maybe in action last year, sure, but in practice and like actual leadership, I haven't seen it this year. So I think we do lack that as well.
And Deji, what do you think, bro? Do you think we have any leaders emerging soon, or do you think that this is just going to be a problem we're going to have to deal with this season and hopefully address it in the summer? I mean, for me, I do think it's a bit weird bringing in a player like similar to what we did with Madison last year, giving him that leadership role within his first year, unless it's a huge player like a big centre back that's already been captain at their previous team. It doesn't really sit right with me to bring a player in and make them their captain. But what do you think? You're on mute, bro. There you go.
Sorry, I actually didn't see any leaders. I love Son, but I didn't in material, because you know you need someone that can galvanize a group, and I never saw Son as galvanizing a group. Yes, he's someone to look at and have, and he's someone who's extremely talented, but not a leader. And we don't have any. That's the bottom line. The person who could have been a leader, the closest person to being a leader, but he showed us from early that he was a liability, was a Romero. And remember, we've never had a leader on the pitch. Our last leader was in bloody goal. Do you get what I'm saying? He was in goal. So we need to bring in leaders.
I think
Pierre-Emile Højbjerg's a leader.
His leadership material.
Højbjerg's a leader.
Højbjerg's a leader, and I think Vicario's got something in him as well. But the thing is, unfortunately, he's not playing well in goal, isn't he? You see,
but how are you going to be a captain when you're getting pushed around? If you can't vocalize, hey, help me, someone help me. If he can't verbalize that, how is he going to? I don't also really like, Hugo Lloris may have ruined it for me, but I've never really liked goalkeepers as my captain. I'm more like someone in the center of the park, right in between the attack and the defense.
Jacob, I'm on my knees, bruv, yeah, because I've had enough of. I'm on my knees, bruv, yeah, because I've been too much having to go out my team, bruv, and I'm getting to the point where I'm on my knees with this now, bruv.
If we bought Guimaraes from Newcastle, he would be our captain immediately. If we brought,
you get a Bruno Guimaraes, is that who you said?
Yeah, Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, a guy like that. If he could speak fluent English,
do you know what I'm saying? If we brought in, I'm not sure.
Here's a far out one, but I just always loved the player. What about Paul Pogba?
Yeah, I mean,
on a free? Come on now.
No way.
Paul Pogba on a free? No, nobody.
That's Vibes FC.
Yeah.
I would have taken Gallagher, but on the premise that is he's got a little bit of a character and he's athletic. Yeah, I think he would have been good in the team. I think he would have been good in this team. But obviously,
he do exactly what ANGE wants. Because I was listening to the show earlier before I jumped on, and y'all were talking about the single pivot and that it's really very difficult to operate there, especially when you don't have someone designated in it. And I agree. I just kind of see it as like ANGE specifically said he doesn't want a 6, an 8, or a 10. He wants 3 midfielders who can do all 3. And I think that's kind of what we've, like, Kulu's not an outright 10, right? He does some of the 8, that box-to-box 8 work that you like, and he kind of does it okay. So it's like he's a little bit of all the above, a little bit. And I see it's like a fluid situation. Is that the right way? I don't know. I'm just saying that's what ANGE said he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But shouldn't, like, Dominic Solanke be a leader? He's a veteran. He's been in the Premier League a minute.
Solanke has the potential,
one
but
of-
he's just arrived. I don't agree with new players being given the captain's armband. We don't know.
Right. I do agree with
That's
that.
why I agree with box office. When Maddison was selected, I thought, why? He's just got it. You
Yeah.
can't elevate Maddison just like that. What has he shown the Spurs faithful to say that he's a legend? Okay, Son you can. He's been there for God knows how long. Romero, to a certain extent,
He's been there a few years, yeah.
Although he's a liability, he should have been our Saliba. He should have been, but he's not. That's just the truth. So,
but this is the thing: is we neutered the Rottweiler, and now we're like he's not as aggressive as before. He's kind of a bitch, and it's like, yeah, you neutered him. We snipped him, and the thing that made him so good is like we needed to find the balance, and I think he was too much this way. We were like right here, and that's where last year was. I was like, man, he's so good, just stay here, and then let's neuter him.
I feel Jacob, I still feel like he's been in that middle this season. It's just been like when he does make those challenges. I think who was it that he got injured against? Was it Villa in that game? The challenge he made, it was just stupid. Like it was just outright stupid, and he got himself injured. And that's the problem with Romero is when there is sometimes you look at him and think great challenge. He's got
because it was like
what are you doing? Like
I think
why he can't be a leader.
I think if you take away that anger from him, though, you lose the player. Though that's the thing with him. That's why I said that I think he's
in this weird in between where he's second guessing himself, and that's why he did that stupid thing versus Villa. And you get in his first year, remember Champions League? I think it was Theo Hernandez. It was almost like I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do it. Erling Haaland as well. I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do it, and I liked it because as a goalkeeper, I've always liked aggressive center backs in front of me, but I see it as like he knew. Okay, I need to be more calm, and then he's like, should I rush in here or am I and it's like this stop and go, this almost, and you can see it. He just doesn't look confident when he goes in. When he gets stuck in, it's like, does he really want to get stuck in? His arms behind his back, and to be honest, that's Eric Dyer PTSD. So I've struggled with my man Romero. I'll be honest, because y'all know how much I love him. It wasn't hard to hear me shouting his names from the mountaintops, but it's unfortunate because I think he's taken that I need to be less aggressive, and now it's in this weird point where he's trying to still be aggressive, but then he's second guessing it, and now he looks kind of clumsy, and it's not good.
I think at the moment, like I said, I'm getting fed up of having to go out my team now. To be honest with you, like I said, I'm gonna have to switch things up a little bit on Spurs on Mr. Box Office TV because it gets to a point when I'm saying
you're gonna do a movie review.
You have said that, yeah. You've said that you're fed up, and do you know what? It's good to see. Sometimes being negative all the time can be overwhelming, and it gets to a point you're like, I need to see good at this point. Do you see any positive going forward in Spurs and how we can get better? Because that's what I'd love to know from you. You want to change and you want to see good. Do you see any good, or is it just you're hoping? You're praying to God that something's gonna come good. Because right now there's nothing in front of you.
I'm not anticipating anything this season. I've got to be honest.
Okay.
I think they're hoping a lot for the youngsters at the moment. I think the thing that is going wrong at the moment are the experienced players. Someone said it, and I think it's making a lot of sense at the moment. I do think the experienced players are not doing what they want them to do at the moment. I think they're hoping. That's why they were saying they're so impressed with Archie Gray and Burval, and I think Mikey Moore. One positive is Mikey Moore. One thing I will say, Mikey Moore against Alkmaar, that little cameo that he did, that was very good. That was very good. But at the end of the day, we're basing ourselves on a very young kid at the moment. You know what I mean? That needs a lot of. Now, if you want to build a squad around, I'll build a team around him. You know what I mean? Because he's got the skill, he's got the quality, he can get around the pitch, and he's one of those players that you could just the opposition would get scared about. You know what I mean? But But I don't know. At the moment, I think that's the only thing I would say at the moment. I do like the goalkeeper. I have to be honest. I do like the goalkeeper because I think he's got something about him, but I think he's got a lot to learn. But other than that,
Yeah.
Yeah, just and just got to, I've just got to see it, you guys. And at the moment, that's what a realist does. He needs
I know we're about done. I just want to throw this question out there, and I just thought of it because I got invited on a Team of the Season show, and he said no Spurs players though, and I said I don't even know if I would fight for any right now.
No, I wouldn't.
If there's one, does anyone have one? I would say maybe Kulu. That's the only player I think that's been relatively consistent.
That's you, not me. I'm sorry.
Well,
no, I'd say for me, I look at Kulu. I think Kulu's been good. Pap Sarr's improved his performances in the last couple of games, definitely. I think he started off the season a bit shaky, but we've seen some improvement in him. Bentancur has been inconsistent, but that's one thing we actually haven't touched on. Before we end up, I do want to touch on it. We saw today that Paul O'Keefe announced that Bentancur's ban's pretty much going to be in effect real soon, and it could be 7 games. We did obviously touch on it a bit earlier.
He did confirm that? I heard the rumor, but Paul O'Keefe confirmed that?
He said 7 games. Paul O'Keefe come out with 7 games. Mike McGrath, I think that's his name, from the Daily Mail or Telegraph, has said that it's all but confirmed. They're just looking. It's going to come out in the next couple of days, the specific amount of games, but 7 games looks like the amount that it's going to be. What do you guys think that our solution should be in the midfield with no Bentancur? Because it's clear to see. Is that what you think, yeah?
Archie-Gray midfield. I don't know where else we go with this, because at the end of the day, like, we brought him in to be number 6. We'll play him.
Play him in a position.
Put somebody experienced next to him, right, to nurture him and play him. I don't know what else. I don't know where else we're going with this. Then, so what is the point buying him then?
I agree, because the way that we've
got to put the statement out saying you're impressed with him in training and Bergvall, and you're not playing them. It's not doing any good for their position. Or you put them on loan. Send them on loan.
Yeah,
because it has to be. I see it a few ways. I don't know if I'm lagging or not, but I see it a few ways. Like, I see it as though, like, I would like to see Archie play in his natural position. Ainge even said he's been enjoying his progression, and think about, he is not even playing his position yet. So Ainge is aware of it. He's not just neglecting this kid in that position. I think that what he demonstrated last year for Leeds proved that he's good enough to be a backup fullback for us. Whereas in the 6 or that DM position, because I don't want to say 6 because Ainge hates the 6s and 8s and 10s, but it shows me that I think he's a second choice fullback for either position while Spence is still coming back. He's at least for sure a backup, the second choice. And I think the 3rd or 4th choice in that DM position, and also the 4th or 5th choice as a center back. And that's why Ashley Phillips was left to go. And I think that he sees him as like a utility player right now, because as a, and I see it, I try to understand before I like get upset or about it, because I agree. When Archie Gray and Bergvall come out and say, my best position is that box to box midfielder, and then he's not touching that position, you wonder, why would this be? And I think it's because we've got Bentancur, Basuma, and Sarr who fill that role, if you will. Like, Sarr not completely, but sort of. Basuma not completely, but sort of. Bentancur, same thing. Like, there's a few people, and I think in the summer, if Bentancur or Basuma leave, then that's when you're going to see Archie Gray start to get that real chance. But then at that point, do we know? It is a huge question mark. But again, I don't see this as an indictment on Ainge. I don't think Ainge said, give me Archie Gray. I want him as a backup fullback. The club wanted Archie Gray. He said, sure, I could fucking put him here. I could put him there, or maybe even over there. And I think the club said, great, that's fantastic. Same thing.
No, I probably agree with you on that. I do think that Archie Gray probably was more of a club signing, but he's one of those ones where Ange looked at it and said, this is a really good player anyway, so I'll find a way to use him. But like you said, I think it's good that he's being used in other positions, especially in the Premier League. He's sort of finding his feet, trying to get used to the higher level of playing, faster football. If we put him in the 6 row straight away, he would have been killed, especially in some of those first games. Just the difference in speed of the way that we play and the game moves at the Premier League compared to the Championship, it's a whole nother level. But I do think, like you guys have alluded to, next year, and Bissouma and Bentancur's future at Spurs doesn't look like it's going to be very long term. It is very clear to see that these are two players that probably over the next 2 seasons maximum, maybe 3, they're both going to be out of the team. We need to start. You start, giving Archie Gray a little 6 row. Every now and then he needs to just throw him in there. He needs to test him out, especially I would think in these Europa League games. Now we've got a few fixtures coming up: Roma, Hoffenheim, was it Elfsborg, and another team like that. Those are probably games where you can throw him in.
Isn't it Roma away? I wouldn't have played him Galatasaray away in the 6 or Roma away. Personally,
I would have said Roma, but they just sacked their manager, and they've been in absolutely horrible form. But
that's right. Yeah.
Rangers away is going to be a tough one, most definitely. But I think it's fair to say that he does need some more game time playing in the role that we brought him in for. Because if he is going to have a future at Spurs and a future in that position, the only way he's going to learn is, by putting him in there and just failing a few times. He's going to have to go in there, have a few bad games, but ultimately, him having a few bad games, I don't think the fans are going to be mad, as opposed to seeing Bissouma in there doing the same stuff we've been seeing him do, not just for 1 or 2 years, but he's in his 3rd season as a Spurs player. It's just not been good enough for him. And I mean, he's going to have a few games now. If Bentancur is out, where Bissouma is going to come into the team, let's see if he can pick up the role and make it his own. But I don't know about you guys. I'm not convinced of it at all. Because he's not
Bissouma's shown moments, but it's just moments. And if we're holding him to a degree of you're a veteran of the Premier League in this squad, you've been here a couple of years now, I'm going to hold you to a similar standard I would throw Brennan Johnson under, not in like the tenure, but the expectations of do something. Now, if you have a good run of game for 8 games, that's one thing, but where's the rest of it? Bissouma last year, 9 games looked like the best thing since sliced bread with butter, just melted on top. I was, oh my God, Declan who? And then it was like he got that red card, never really came back, and then we were like, maybe. Then this year it's like 45 minutes, he's fantastic. Then he's a bozo for 15 minutes. Then he's a little bit Højbjerg-esque. It's like someone has to be that I'm good, the bad, the ugly. It's like I hate that we always, someone in the team will always just give you good, bad, and ugly. And it's sad because I love Bissouma. I bought 38 when we first got him because I felt like I thought he was the only reason Brighton were giving us trouble all them years was because of this guy. Bissouma was just dominating us. And when we bought him, I thought it was a whole thing. And honestly, he hasn't lived up to any expectation I had other than those first 10 games. That was fantastic.
I just see the other day, Spurs are looking at Carlos Baleba. That's the guy that Brighton signed to replace Bissouma. So it just goes to show how bad the scouting team can be at times. Because if you're signing the player that Brighton replace your player with, we're probably going to have to chuck another 40, 50 million to them. It's just poor. It's really just poor. But guys,
I agree.
It has been a pleasure. It's been very good show, hour and 20 minutes in. Thank you and big up to everyone that has joined in. I think we've got 37 live people in, but the chat has been going off all the time. So let me just shout out to some of the people in the chat who've had join us this whole time. Man like Destiny, he's been here. We had Levy out, who was here from the very jump. Big up to you. Tottenham Ranger. This is actually the best Tottenham Power Ranger needs to be a thing because that image is sick. I just need to say
no, it's a sick outfit. Yeah.
The outfit just, it looks so clean. White Power Ranger, it needs to happen. It needs to be a thing. Rum Scully, ACFC. Who else we got up in here? We got Bryce, plain old Bryce. And I think that's pretty much everyone. The Hitman as well, the Hitman 55. Big up to everyone that has joined in. Please make sure you do check out everyone's channels. They are in the description below. You've got Mr. Box Office himself. He's pretty much putting out videos every week, so make sure you go over there to check out his channel. United Spurs of America, who's going to be going live straight after this, so head over there to watch him live. And also Spurs Kings TV, Ash, he's live as well. So if you whatever way you want to go. If you want to go to America, you want to go overseas, you want to stay in the UK, you can choose which stream you want to head over, as well as Deji Spurs. He's killing it right now. So make sure you head over there. But thank you guys for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. Big thank you to my guests. Have you guys got anything else to plug or anything you want to say before we head out?
Big up Jules, and I hope you're all subscribing to his channel to try and get him up to 1,000 subscribers. He works really hard and he's doing streams quite early in the day and stuff, and keeping it consistent and everything else. So yeah, and hopefully he does more with other YouTubers as well. And I think so just big up to you and big up to Jacob as well. And like I say, I'll Mr. Box Office TV. I'm going to be switching it up a little bit. One video on Ange, why I'm out of him, and then that's it. I'm not going to repeat it anymore, and that's it. And try and switch up a little bit, make it a little bit more. And it's not because people are telling me I'm negative. It just gets really boring, and that's all I'm going to say, and that's it. So Mr. Box Office is reset. Reset. Well, I can't even say it right now because I'm a bit hungry. I need my chicken. Back to you, Jules. I'm done.
It's fine. It's fine. Mr. Box Office is resetting, man. Positive box office incoming.
Yeah,
for
no, I agree with Alex, man. It does get tiring, especially it's like another international break. We lost to a team a team who hadn't won that we should have beat. But I want to just say something about like it's okay. Like Alex and I disagree about ANGE, and he said he loves me and I love him. It's like I disagree with Sava, and it's okay. Like it's okay to disagree and just be kind to yourself and be kind to others, man. It's really not that fucking hard. So many people are so miserable, and they're like, if you're not miserable like me, I'm gonna try bro. A video just giving my opinion that said ANGE is clueless. Stick to American football. Fuck you. How long have you been supporting this team? You weren't down at the lane 25 years ago. No, I wasn't. I don't know how that makes me a bad person, but you know what? Everyone's got their own opinions, and it's okay to just accept others' opinions and know that they can just disagree with you and life goes on.
Yeah, most definitely, man. We're all here to bring the Spurs community together. And I know it's a mess right now, but just like Jacob said, we may disagree. We may have different opinions. But outside of that, we're all good, man. Everyone's good. We all want to keep kindness and keep the love flowing. So big up to everyone. Big up for everyone tuning in. Just smash the like on your way out and head over to United Spurs America, man. Peace.